So Joe Joyce knocked out Joe Hanks in the first round on the undercard of Wilder Fury. Joyce working with Abel Sanchez. Sanchez is very realistic about what Joe Joyce is and what he can do and what he can't do. And his stance looked to have changed a little bit to me. I guess they're working on loosening him up a little bit. But with Ishmael Salas, the brief period he spent with him and David Haye, they experimented with turning Joyce into a giant version of Haye, or at least incorporating some of Haye's techniques into Joe Joyce's style. And you saw that particularly when he fought that enormous 7-foot tall guy whose name I can't remember. But under Abel Sanchez, they're trying to turn him into, or turn him back into, what he was as an amateur, which is essentially a pressure fighter, a big guy who comes forward with heavy clubbing punches. They're trying to go back to what he is by nature and what he is by natural design, and just improve upon that rather than changing him completely into something that he might not be comfortable being. So that's what I saw in the Joe Hanks fight. He came out, Hanks caught him with a few shots here and there. You know, Hanks is relatively athletic for a big man. But Joe Joyce found his range and lowered the boom relatively quickly. And he got Joe Hanks the hell out of there and won. And I've noticed that whenever Joe Joyce fights, even in the United States, he gets a good reception, which is good to see. But yeah, he gets a good reception. People like him. He doesn't come across as the most witty of individuals in interviews, but his performances in the ring are usually entertaining. And there are a lot of parallels to a young George Foreman. Again, I'm not getting carried away and saying he's going to be as good as Foreman at all. What I am saying is he's a big, clunky guy who throws punches that look at times innocuous, but have a devastating effect when they land on target. So he's a heavy-handed guy, Joe Joyce. Hanks, yeah, he never stood a chance. He just got steamrolled over. He got juggernauted over. It is what it is. He had wanted to fight Gerald Washington. That was initially supposed to be the plan. But Gerald Washington decided to go a different route and take on Kaunaki. Be interesting to see who they can get for Joe Joyce in his 8th fight. If they can get a name who is still somewhat relevant in the top 20, top 15 of the heavyweight division, that'd be good, because they're trying to fast track him and get him into title contention before too long. At the end of the day, this guy isn't somebody who just turned professional without any kind of semi-pro experience, because really and truly, the World Series of Boxing, not to be confused with the World Boxing Super Series, was essentially a semi-pro tournament, or a semi-pro league, whatever you want to call it. That's what the World Series of Boxing was. So he's not your typical 7-0 professional novice at all. He can be fast-tracked. He can be moved quickly. So I watch with interest in terms of who they match Joe Joyce up against. He's apparently been called out by Luis Ortiz, and that's a fight that he himself said he was interested in earlier on, a few fights ago. So we'll see if that fight has any legs at all. If not, hopefully they find him a different opponent, which is, relatively interesting. So we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about Joe Joyce's performance. And I've seen people from the very beginning of Joe Joyce's career write him off, say he's slow and clunky, he'll never get anywhere, he's going to get chinned and all this kind of stuff. He does look slow and clunky. He does look unorthodox. He does look easy to hit. But, there are intangibles in boxing. Joyce looks like a guy who shouldn't have been an Olympic silver medalist, but he was. And not only was he an Olympic silver medalist, a lot of people think he deserved to win the gold against Tony Yoka. You don't get to that level if you're completely crap in amateur boxing. You just don't. And in the World Series of Boxing, which was full of top-level fighters, including Hrgovic, who's a fellow prospect, Joe Joyce had multiple fights in that tournament and only lost 2. One of them was to Usyk. The other one I can't remember. But he did well in that tournament. Again, you don't pick up them kind of victories and beat people like Hrgovic if you're rubbish. So even though his style looks all wrong, somehow it works. I don't understand it. You don't understand it, but we can't ignore the results. So I'm very interested to see how Joe Joyce's career pans out. I think he's an entertaining heavyweight. And yeah, I look forward to it. So let me know how you feel about Joe Joyce in general and his performance against Joe Hanks on the Wilder Fury undercard. All right? Drop your comments below. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.